Breaking news, gyms are reopening. We are going to get back to normal life, pretty soon. But you're probably looking at yourself, bouncing your tummy up and down and thinking, yeah, I'm not ready to really show myself yet. So what do? Well, you're probably looking and searching on the internet and like, how do I lose 20 pounds in the next week? And not really coming up with many good searches. So what I'm here to give you today is the most effective fat loss kickstart if you need rapid results really quickly in the most healthy and sustainable way possible. And the way that I'm gonna give you this is actually breaking it down into 3 categories, or 3 levels, I should say, with beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So I'm gonna walk you through each one and give you exactly what the plan is if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and like, I need something fast. So you're gonna wanna stick around and watch the rest of this video. What's up guys, Eric Bowling here, and in today's video we are going to be pretty much looking at the most effective way to kickstart your fat loss in a healthy and safe way. No gimmicks, no supplements, none of that required, no cutting water, no diuretics. So if you guys kind of already know where you're at and what you want, you can just go down to the description and click the timestamp and leave me a like for that. Okay, so the way this video is going to go, first I'm gonna explain what I mean by a kickstart to your fat loss, why you may need this, if it's effective, if it's safe, if it's healthy, what to do and what not to do when it comes to these things, which level you should do. So whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, what requirements you need before you go and you tackle those things, and then pretty much we'll go into exactly what the protocol is for each. Okay, so why do you need a kickstart? Well, look, here's the thing. We've all been in lockdown, right? All of our routines have been thrown off. You know, we've been lazy, we haven't been training as much, your food's been off track, and so, you know, you probably have put on a few pounds like most of the population. A kickstart is pretty much a way to get things moving quickly. And research shows that the faster you can see results initially, the longer success you will have long term. So now let's kind of look at what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and we'll also kind of talk about who should do it and who shouldn't do it. So I'm just gonna give you a disclaimer right now. This is not for everyone. And let's talk about exactly who should not do this or who this isn't for. Look, if you already have a bad history with dieting, you know, you prescribe to the whole yo-yo diet thing, you go very aggressive, and then you just rubber band back to where you were before, this is probably not going to be the best approach for you because you already have bad habits established, and this will only be viewed as a way to further those bad habits in a sense. Now, the other type of person that this isn't for is someone who really isn't in it for the long run. So if you're just kind of looking for something quick, you know, just like, oh yeah, you know, I can do something for 2 weeks and then I'm gonna go back to eating hot Cheetos every day, oh, that's me, I think that's me. You're probably asking, well, who is it for? Well, let's say for example, you already were going to the gym prior. You already, you know, you were in shape, or, you know, you already have a history with eating clean, tracking your foods. But, you know, this whole lockdown thing has kind of really put you in a little rut where, you know, you're not only are you off your routine, but you're not doing what you were doing before, which I think that's the definition of routine. What am I saying? So let's say, for example, you know, you have put on some weight during this time and you just really need to get back on track. Well, yeah, then definitely you are the type of person who should be doing the kickstart. So now that we kind of have, you know, who it's for, let's talk about this whole idea of kickstarts or these rapid results, these rapid fat loss things. And let's just kind of explain some of this, because I know you guys really want to get to this, and once again, you know, the timestamps are down there if you're still just watching this and you want to, like, dude, hurry up. But I think it's really important for you guys to educate yourself on these type of things. Let's say, for example, someone offers you this whole idea, this rapid results really quickly. So I'm here to give you today's most effective fat loss kickstart if you need rapid results really quickly. Real quick, let's just kind of explain these things. Let's explain what is effective, and then let's explain what's not effective. The most important thing when it comes to this is at least to be maintaining your protein intake. And to maintain your protein intake, that's going to require some type of food, right? Doesn't matter if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, but you need to be getting in your protein. Otherwise, yes, not only will the weight you're losing will be coming from water, but it's also going to be coming from lean tissue as well. So we need to keep that in mind, that protein is going to be the most essential thing that we need to maintain regardless of what our caloric intake is. So can you do extremely low calories? Well, yes, you can, but not for long. And if you are going to go extremely low calories, at bare minimum, you still need to be hitting your bare minimum protein intake. Otherwise, you're going to be losing lean tissue in the process. And the thing to remember is that lean tissue is pretty much going to be one of the main things driving how high your basal metabolic rate is. If you guys don't know what your basal metabolic rate is, that's pretty much how many calories you're burning when you're not doing anything. You know, when you're like me, just making YouTube videos, sitting at home, that's pretty much how many calories you're burning throughout the day. Now, if I remove 10 pounds of muscle from my current frame, which I believe that's all the muscle I have right now, I'm not gonna be burning as much calories as I would have if I had that extra 10 pounds of muscle. So when it comes to these kickstarts, the most important factor is that the kickstart starts with some form of fasting. And this is why I wanna go into the beginner, intermediate, and advanced, because this is gonna come down to what you believe you are capable of. Every plan, for the most part, whether you're beginner to advanced, it doesn't matter. The plans are the same pretty much.
Okay, so now let's look at the protocol for beginners. The first thing we're gonna have is 13 calories per pound of body weight. That's gonna determine the total amount of calories that we need per day on this plan. Next, we're gonna be looking at 0 to 1 days of fasting. So beginners don't even have to do the fasting protocol, but I would recommend at least 1 day. Next, we're gonna have 10,000 steps per day. And then lastly, we're gonna be looking at least 1 to 2 workouts during the entire span of this kickstart. Now for intermediate, we're gonna be looking at 12 calories per pound of body weight, 1 to 2 days of fasting, 15,000 steps per day, and 2 to 3 workouts during the entire kickstart. So for advanced, we're gonna be looking at 10 to 11 calories per pound of body weight, 2 to 3 days of fasting to kickstart the whole thing, 15 to 20,000 steps per day, and we're gonna be looking at 6 workouts during the entire kickstart protocol.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into exactly who should be doing the beginner approach. Now the beginner approach should pretty much be, you have some type of history in the gym, you've dieted before, you already know what your goal is. Let's say you're like, all right, I've put on some weight, I just really want something quick so I can get back into the gym and then back into my normal routine. But I'm not really doing this for any other reason than just to feel good. Who needs to do intermediate? Well, I would say if you have a strong goal after this whole thing, so let's say it's less subjective, like I just want to feel good, or I just want to get back into my pants, or my pants are a little tight, and it's more so I need to lose a specific amount of weight, that would be who would do intermediate. Now, who should be doing advanced? The only type of person who should be doing advanced are going to be those type of people whose goal is specifically body composition related. Let's say you already have a history in the past with training, doing photo shoots, stepping on stage, whatever it may be, and you already know what to do. Like, you don't even need to see what my post kickstart plan is. You already know what to do. You just need something quick to get back on track, to start seeing those results again, so that you can already go back to your old routine. Let's make this very simple in terms of how you do it. Depending on which plan you're gonna follow, whether it's beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you're gonna take the calories, times it by your body weight, and that's gonna be how many calories you're allowed per day after your fast is done, depending on how many days you decided to fast. Once you have your calories, all you're going to do is divide that number by 3, and that's exactly how many calories you're gonna have per meal. That's gonna cover the basics of the nutrition portion. Now, in terms of the macronutrient split, you can do it one of 2 ways. If you're pretty familiar with macronutrients, you can follow whatever split you already know works for you in terms of dividing your protein percentage, carb percentage, and fat percentage. Or if you don't know what macronutrient percentage works for you, or you don't even know what macros are, then the way that I would suggest doing it, and once again, this is just an overview, this is not a tailored nutrition protocol, so this will work for about 70% of you. There will always be outliers, but the way that you should do it if you don't want to know macronutrients and percentages and all that is, if you were to look at your plate, at least have, for men, I would say 2/3 of your plate should be a fist size of protein. So you have 2 of those, right? Which is roughly around 8 ounces of a protein. And then the remainder of your plate is going to be vegetables, okay? So you'll have that 3 times a day. And for women, what I would suggest is you have 1 fist size of protein and then 2 fist size of vegetables, right? So about 1/3 of your plate is going to be some type of protein, and then the remainder of your plate is going to be vegetables. Now that we have the overview of the nutrition, You also have to choose what you're going to be doing for the fasting, right? So you have all the way from 0 days, you're not going to touch the fasting at all the way up to a maximum of 3 days for the fasting. During the fast, you need to make sure that only water, coffee, or tea is consumed, as drinking things with artificial sweeteners in it have the potential to kick you out of your fast or to slow down the rate of autophagy. So I highly recommend skipping all the potential diet drinks or sparkling drinks that may have artificial sweeteners, or trying to make coffee and then putting stevia in it and stuff like that. Make sure everything is 0 calories. But even if it says 0 calories, make sure that there's no artificial sweeteners in it, because there is some research that suggests that artificial sweeteners will be metabolized, and it does have calories in it in small degrees that can potentially hinder the rate at which you enter a fasting state. Now that we got the fasting done, yes, make sure that you guys remember you need a total amount of steps hit per day, so make sure that you guys hit that. You might be asking, okay, does running contribute to that? Anything contributes to that. So if you have a watch that tracks it, like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, I suggest doing that, because most of the time we don't always have our phone on hand. But if you want to use your phone, you can. Just know that it's not the most accurate unless literally it's with you every point of the day. And then when it comes to the exercise, once again, just make sure that you guys do something, unless you're on the beginner plan. The beginner plan is going to be the only one where you don't really have to do it. Just focus on getting your steps and focus on the nutrition. And you might be asking, okay, well, what about post-plan? Because I know this is only for 12 days. No matter where you are, just go ahead and add anywhere from +1 to +2 to whatever caloric range you had initially. That way, after the initial 12 days is done, you can slowly start to increase your calories and bring yourself back up to a specific level that you find yourself comfortable at to maintain that fat loss. Hopefully those timestamps were helpful, so make sure that you leave me a like and subscribe if you did enjoy that. And when you're doing this, 2 things. If there was anything that wasn't clear in terms of the protocol or what you should be doing post, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to reply to you and help you out further. If you stuck to it and you did get results, just let me know. I'd love to hear your story and I'd love to share it, and I'm sure everyone else here would love to hear it as well. And that's all for today's video, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.